enterprising characters had managed to spy on the famous Skull and Bones Society, we couldn't resist. Here's ABC's Dan Harris.
The videotape provides a grainy glimpse into what appear to be the initiation rituals of a secret society that's been around since 1832, whose members have gone on to be leaders of Wall Street and the White House, the Senate and the Supreme Court.
They're sort of trying to scare the initiates, make them, disorient them, frighten them.
New York Observer investigative reporter Ron Rosenbaum accompanied a team of Yale students who shot these pictures 9 days ago. Rosenbaum's curiosity about Skull and Bones was permanently piqued when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the Tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the Tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing.
Prince of all mortal wisdom, all of Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel.
A fraud? No, it wasn't a fraud, but I'll be glad to talk to you if you'll shut up and let me talk. Fraud, let me tell you something. I'll tell you a couple of stories about fraud. The Bohemian Club, as you say, the Bohemian Club, that's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. Get some fresh air.
Understand the significance of the destruction of the Twin Towers, one must first understand the reality of the two different species growing together like twins. The parable of the wheat and the weeds in the book of Matthew illustrates the two different species growing together. The destruction of the Twin Towers was Satan's declaration that the twins were gone and that the two had become one, as evidenced by the building of the One World Trade Center. The One World Trade Center's architecture represented an upside-down C joined together with the right-side-up C, thus forming the new race in one new body, thus representing the forming of the completed human race. Through the destruction of the Twin Towers and the tearing down of what once existed, the building of the One World Trade Center would represent Satan's recreation of a temple, in which he would sit as the king, the commingling of the serpent seed with the seed of the woman.
The Book of Enoch also states that the Watchers began to mix animals and humans together. Quote, "They started to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, and then to devour one another's bodies, even drinking the blood. It was then the earth laid accusation against these lawless ones."
Plans to allow scientists to create embryos that are part human and part animal are set for approval by the official regulator in Britain. These hybrid embryos are seen by the country's leading scientists as a vital step in the search for cures for diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It's a highly controversial procedure and is banned in some European countries. Our medical correspondent Fergus Walsh has the story.
This embryo is part mouse, part cow. In a few months, this Newcastle lab is hoping to create a human-cow hybrid. This is highly complex science, the creation of cytoplasmic hybrids, known as cybrid embryos. The starting point is a cow's egg, which is cut open by a laser. The DNA is sucked out. The next step is to take a human cell, perhaps from a patient with Parkinson's disease, and inject it into the egg. Now this is the crucial point at which an embryo is created, because
Not only are they trying to rediscover Atlantis, but in doing so, they are merely attempting to fulfill the ancient hope which has been at work since the days of Adam and Eve, the earthly rule of the Antichrist. Certainly seems stranger than fiction.
When I looked into Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, and he flies his hand glider towards there, and lands on top of the Twin Towers, and then you watch the movie Stargate, and you realize he's the first person, the first human representative through the Stargate, which opens up into these pyramids on a distant planet.
The holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. Be still, know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us.
Agree with Reverend Graham and our panelists on this side that Americans should fear Islam.
We do believe as Muslims the East and the West will one day be governed by the Sharia. Indeed, we believe that one day the flag of Islam will fly over the White House. Indeed, there's even a narration of the Prophet where he said the day of judgment will not come until a group of my ummah conquer the White House.
Okay.
Tonight we have another disturbing story to report. The Obama administration has confirmed to Fox News that earlier this month, members of the National Security Council met with this man, Abdullah bin Baya. Now, this is a group that openly supports Hamas and calls for the destruction of Israel. Now, the group was founded by an Egyptian cleric who in the past has called for the death of Americans and Jews and is banned for ever stepping foot in the United States.
This is completely impossible to understand. Why you would have this person in the White House talking to people on the National Security Council, a person who's the vice president of an organization that calls for the destruction of the state of Israel, an organization whose president has advocated killing Israelis and killing Americans. And he's the vice president of the group. So we have somebody sitting in the White House who's part of an organization that has advocated the killing of Americans. What is going on in the White House?
Another data collection, data gathering center on Islamists, though, is accusing the Obama administration of allowing scores of known radical Islamists to make hundreds of visits to the White House. It cites court documents and other records to identify many visitors belonging to groups serving as fronts for the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, and other Islamic militant organizations.
Do you know how many of the members of your Countering Violent Extremism are members of Muslim Brotherhood? Let me ask you, Muhammad Biari was a member of the working group. You promoted him, and it said there, I've got articles here that say you swore him in as a member now of your, the Homeland Security Advisory Group. He's apparently been given a secret clearance. Let me make sure you leave here understanding. He was a featured speaker at the tribute to the great Islamic visionary Ayatollah Khomeini.
Questions now have been raised about Obama's CIA nominee by an ex-FBI agent who claims that the nominee for the CIA, John Brennan, is an Islamic convert with decades-old connections to the most anti-American variant of the religion.
Then accused Ahmadin of helping members of the Muslim Brotherhood infiltrate the U.S. government. Why John Brennan should not be CIA director? Of course, he's a secret Muslim.
The Bible speaks of signs in the heavens. What does it mean? What is the prophetic significance? Is this the end of the age? And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. That the heavens are God's billboard, that he has been sending signals to planet Earth, and we just haven't been picking them up. I'm going to walk you through 500 years and show you how God is literally screaming at the world, I'm coming soon.
Obama signed an executive order that will seize greater power over food, fiber, and energy in our vast countryside areas. Why would Homeland Security be involved in exerting power and influence over the heartland? The aims of the White House Rural Development Plan sound eerily similar to a UN plan called Agenda 21, where a central planning agency would be responsible for oversight into all areas of our lives, a one world order.
Fellow world leaders, you're looking at an advanced weapons system capable of destroying each of your countries 14 times over. 15 in the case of North Korea.
There is a disturbing new weapons program, the KN-08.
How did this happen? It's a new class of weapon. Everything went offline and never came back. They wipe us out, including U.S. Central Command.
And all at the push of a button.
Expect something you trust to turn against you. The rods didn't just decimate the land. They left us open to full-scale invasion.